Good morning from Ankara, Turkey's capital city. Now, you couldn't get any more different to Cappadocia if you tried. When I entered Cappadocia and saw all the rock formations and the castle, it felt like I was in a different world. When I entered Ankara, I could see nothing but huge skyscrapers. This is definitely a capital city. I'm here for 5 days, and yesterday I arrived kind of late afternoon and just had a wander, just half an hour or so, just to go and get some food. And I didn't take a single photo. There didn't really seem to be anything of any great interest. It just seemed like a city with not much to do. Today I'm going to explore the old part of Ankara, starting with an area called Hane. I'm definitely saying that wrong. It's about 20 minutes walk from here, so let's go and explore old Ankara. Well, this looks like something you'd see in Ukraine rather than Turkey. Now, sometimes a place grabs you straight away, and other times it takes a while for you to discover the hidden beauties, the hidden global treats, and sometimes you just don't fall for a place. So I'm hoping that Ankara falls in that second category. Well, I've spotted the castle just over there to my left, and to get there I'm having to walk through the university grounds, and I thought that Google brought me the wrong way because the road ended, but there is this, and this looks like it'll take me into the old town of Ankara. Well, this all looks very different. Lots of cafes and restaurants, souvenirs. You want to be on YouTube? You gonna do a little dance? Perfect. Have the old clock tower here. So this must be the centre of the area, I'm guessing. Well, I've stopped off for some lunch at just a random place. I had no idea what it's supposed to be like, but it's in a nice setting, got a nice view, and it's pretty cheap as well. I looked at Google Maps and it's got a lot of bad reviews. I think an average of like 3.4, but this looks pretty good. Shit ton of bread again as usual. I'm heading up to the castle, which is just coming into view to my left up there. There's a few places in between that I want to go and check out, and one of them is an old prison called Ulucanlı Prison. The Ulucanlı Prison was opened in 1925 and was a closed prison, which meant it was maximum security. Here we are. Looks bigger than I imagined it, to be honest. For some reason I had in my head that it was going to be very small. It was converted into a museum in 2011. It had already ceased to be a prison for a number of years after an attempted escape by a number of the inmates. Wow, so the place is huge. We're here, look at the size of it. Here we go. 9 Turkish lira to enter. Here we go, straight into the prison wall. Here we have some reproductions of paintings from a woman called Sevim Onursel, who stayed at the prison between 1971 and 1973. And he's one of these people. I don't know which one. None of the information has English translations, so we're just going to be guessing what these places are. This looks okay. It's a bit like my hostel room. They've got chains on there so that people don't steal the mattress. So here we have the people who stayed in this room. Again, it's all in Turkish, so this guy's still alive. 1931. He's the only guy that stayed here that's still alive. I think the previous places that we looked at were probably not cells at all. They may be the people that worked there. You can hear the noises of people being beaten. These cells had no toilets, no windows, no natural light. So the prisoners would basically have to live in complete darkness. This is the back side of the cells. So this is the only light that would get through would be through here, these ventilation holes. Prisoners would literally spend their entire existence in darkness. See another one here, just one hole, one tiny hole. Many prominent Turkish people were sent here. Journalists, writers, poets, politicians, religious leaders. This would be the courtyard where the prisoners would be allowed to come outside and enjoy the little bit of light before being sent back to the cells. It's a real shame that there's no translation, no English explanations on these pictures. Got a random David Carradine movie poster. I've just done Google Translate of some of the information that's on the end of each bed, and it gives you information about the prisoners who stayed in that bed. Well, the one that I looked at, he was a cartoonist, and he produced a cartoon under a pseudonym, and he got arrested for its content, which was kind of anti-government, and he got sent to 3 years. 3 years here. Following which, he was originally from Istanbul, he moved to Bodrum and then Izmir, where he finally died of bone cancer in 1973. And his is just one story of hundreds, thousands of people that stayed here. Another big courtyard. And these three here were all hanged for joining a left-wing political party. They were hanged in 1972. They were all between 24 and 25 years old. Bloody hell. These are the discipline cells, and this is where people who had been sentenced for severe crimes such as rape, murder, harassment, they would be sent to stay in here. And also people from the other cells that were misbehaving and had been repeatedly warned, they would also be sent here. A dungeon discipline cell. Here we have some prison art that would have meant so much to the people that were staying here. Being able to see waterfalls and mountains, it would have provided a relief from their everyday life of dark cells. Wow, there's more here. Prisoners would only have their imagination to escape the horrors of their existence. This is the old laundry room, which you can tell because they've put some towels here to help you out. The old washer here. The old Turkish bath. Don't know what that is. We have a list of the people that were executed here between 1925 and 1983. Now I can see there are a number in 1926, and then a huge gap to 1964, and then another smaller gap to 1972, then a gap again, 1980. So maybe the law changed, maybe executions became illegal during those periods. Once a week, the convicts were allowed to meet with visitors, and this is where they would come. To see friends or family, loved ones, before returning back to prison life. That was actually a really cool museum. It's a shame that there wasn't really any information in English, but to be honest, there wasn't really much information in Turkish either. Just information about some of the people that stayed here, and Google Translate helped me out really well with that. So I was able to find out the stories of a few of the prisoners. Well, this is certainly an interesting part of the city. This is the Aslan Hane Mosque. Got the whole place to myself. Check this out. Up here we have the times when the call to prayer will ring out. 3:44 in the morning, 5:28, 12:52, 4:43, 3 minutes past 8, and then 9:38. These are random times. My next stop in this area, which is, I think it's kind of part of the old citadel, the castle just at the top, there's a place called the Gramophone Cafe. And I'm not really wanting a coffee or anything, but I've heard it's quite a cool place. So it's only a couple of minutes walk away. It's a nice area, this. Oh, here we are. Seems popular. But this whole area looks pretty cool. I've just ordered some drinks with a Erkin Kore menu, which is a good sign. We're playing the Turkish music, so let's take a look. Wow, it's like a museum. Incredible. I'm presuming that all these are for sale, the vinyl. Old jukeboxes. Wow, check this out. You've got all the vinyl for sale as well. This is amazing. What a coffee shop. Well, this beautiful coffee shop. I've gone for some traditional local stuff, so I've got this, which is a menengic coffee, which comes with that. I wasn't sure what to do with it. I asked if I poured that in there. She said no, you have a sip of this and then a sip of that. I think that's some kind of berry juice, and some traditional lemonade, which I've already been guzzling down. That's absolutely beautiful. So let's give the coffee a go. It's non-caffeine apparently. Oh, that's interesting. So the coffee's very nutty, and that is some kind of berry juice. Yeah, that's quite like that. Wonderful coffee and lemonade in a fantastic coffee shop. Love that place. Great music, great decor, loads of really cool stuff to look at. And now I'm off to a museum, the Rahmi M Koç Museum, which I do believe is just up here. This is the queue for the museum. I'm going to skip the museum for now, because right next to the museum is the entrance to the castle. I thought I was still quite a way away from it, but here it is. I just came through the entrance to the castle thinking that I was literally going to walk into a courtyard and the castle would be right there. But it's like a whole part of the city. Look at this. This is inside the castle walls. It's all very souvenir, but not entirely. There's like clothes shops and cafes and stuff. It looks really nice, to be honest. Well, walking around the streets within the castle walls, I don't know how to get to the bloody castle. It must be up here because lots of people selling souvenirs and stuff. Oh, finally, some great views from up here. Over there seems to be like the main castle part, but it doesn't look like anyone's over there, so maybe you can't access that. You certainly need some work doing on these roofs over here.
Nearby here. Don't have time. Maybe on the way back. Hadi hızlı vurma düşerim. Var da var. Bana bak işte. Bana bak.
Street cats taking over. Look at this guy. He ain't moving for anyone. It really does feel like a completely different city up here. It's nothing like the area where I'm staying, which just feels like a capital city. It's very beautiful around here. And it's not actually expensive as well. Normally when you come to touristy places, everything's a little bit more expensive. But I had a meal for 75 lira. Drinks have been cheap. This museum seems to have quietened down a bit now. So, the Rahmi Koç Museum. Now, Rahmi Koç is one of the richest men in the world. He's a billionaire, and he's collected this stuff from over the centuries for years, and he's donated it all to his museums. There's one here, there's one in Istanbul, there are others scattered around Turkey. So I guess it's time to go in. Well, here we are in the museum then. Only 20 lira to get in. Nice Volkswagen here, some old vintage cars, a Fiat. It's part of the Ford company, the Anadolu Turkish model. Look at the size of it though. There was a sign up on the door telling you to wear masks. So I went rummaging through my bag to find a mask. And yeah, no one's wearing them. I think wearing a mask has already been consigned to history in Turkey. Check out all the old medical equipment, ultra shortwave generator. There's sections for all you train spotters out there. It's the mallard, the original, can be found in the National Railway Museum in York. A lot of the little spaces have been made out as if they're the actual workspaces of people that used to work in various trades. So here we've got like the guy who would kind of cut pieces of leather, make leather jackets and leather clothes. And then here we've got the tailor shop. And the carpenter. So it's kind of like an old mall, I guess, with all the various shops, but from many, many years ago. So let's go and take a look at the barber shop. This one would be for the little ones. It's all original stuff as well.
Ankara keçilerinde kızgınlık mevsimi günleri kısalmaya başladı.
This guy scared me to death. I thought that was actually a guy sat there making pots and pans. It's a really cool museum that they've got all these artifacts and they've turned all these spaces into like what would have been like the old shops where they used to sell their goods. All of these have come from the Istanbul Carpet Exporters Association. And you can see, I'm not sure what this building used to be. These inscriptions here on the wall read, "Everything is mortal, God is everlasting, this world is like a spider's web," in the year 1154. And they were discovered when this building was being renovated. So these have all been donated by someone called Ismail Kamal Gujaleden, who apparently was one of the famous shoemakers of the early Republic period, and his daughter has donated all of this stuff. And it sounds like a school's just arrived. This is a very famous painting. It was painted sometime in the 18th century, and for many years people thought that it was Aleppo. And then it was the activity of the goats in this corner down there that made people realise that it's actually Ankara. And it's anonymous. No one knows who painted it. Pure lard. Wow. Shortcake, fruitcake. Wait, reading biscuits? Coffee in a tin. All the things. Wheat germ, baking powder. I don't recognise any of these. These must be well old. Probably American actually. That's what you call a tin of potato chips. Some here as well. And Hershey's.